History chapter 8, class 9, History chapter 8, South India and the Cholas. This is a new chapter. Today I want to start it. Now, look at the book, chapter 8. The South India and the Cholas, the Deccan and South India. After the fall of the Shatavahanas, the Vatakas rose to power in the Deccan. After the Vatakas, three major dynasties dominated the Deccan and South India. These are the Chalukyas of Vadami, the Pallavas of Kanchipuram, and the Pandyas of Madurai. The greatest king of the Chalukya dynasty was Pulakeshin II, who ruled from 608 AD to 642 AD. He was killed in the war. The reign of Narasimharam marks the climax of Pallava power. He ruled from 630 AD to 668 AD. Finally, the Cholas overthrew the Pallavas. The Pallava kings built many magnificent temples. The Rathas of Mahabalipuram were built by the king Narasimharam in the 7th century AD. There are 8 Rathas, of which the Dharmaraja Ratha is the largest. All of you listen carefully. The Dharmaraja Ratha is the largest. The Pandas rose to prominence in the last quarter of the 6th century AD. The boundaries of the kingdom varied from time to time, but its capital at Madurai was constant. Early in the 10th century AD, the Cholas invaded and occupied their territory. Rajashima too fled in fear, and with this the Pandya kingdom came to an end. The Cholas, from 5th to early years of the 9th century, the Cholas were not a force to be reckoned with. From 5th to early years of the 9th century, the Cholas were not a force we cannot encounter with the Cholas. The greatness of the Cholas was revived about 850 AD by the dynasty founded by the Vijayalaya. Although he began his career as the vassal or a subordinate commander of the Pallava king, very soon he captured Tanjore from the Muttariyar chiefs and made it his capital. His son and successor Aditya I inflicted a crushing defeat on the Pandyas. He worshipped Shiva, in whose honor he built several temples. His son, the Pravartika II, Pavantaka I, ruled for 48 years. During his long reign, he extended his domain still further. We have already seen that he annexed the kingdom of the Pandya king, Rajashima II, who fled in favor to Sri Lanka. Now, sources to reconstruct the age of the imperial Cholas. The Chola era was the golden age of Tamil literature. Now, Jayamangdar, also known as the Jayagundan, it is historical epic of great richness. It tells us the story of the heroic deeds of the king Kulotunga I, who ruled from 1070 to 1122 AD. Besides king's brave actions in the wars, these historical works give us an idea of the social and economic conditions of the age as well. It also depicts the cultural ideals accepted and cherished by the people. Archaeological sources, monuments and inscription. Brihatshara temple. The Cholas built majestic palaces and grand temples. One of the masterpieces of Chola architecture is the Brihatshara temple, also known as the Rajeshwara temple at Thanjavur. The temple was built about 1000 AD by Rajaraja, the great of the Chola dynasty. It was dedicated to Lord Shiva. The temple provides the best style of Dravidian style of architecture in vastness, design, sculptures, and allied arts. Some of the prominent features are the massive tower rising to a height of 180 feet, the massive tower Vimana, the tower being crowned by a massive dome, which is a single block of stone weighing about 80 tons, the Garbhagriha housing, the colossal Shiva lingam nearly 9 meters high. These are the characteristics featured. The outer doorway being flanked by two gigantic Dorpallas, the inner walls containing fine and bold sculptures of various deities, the inscriptions. Now, hundreds of inscriptions, both in Tamil and Sanskrit, have been discovered in various parts of Chola kingdom, being engraved on stone or metal, walls, pillars, and copper plates. They could not be tampered with. Now, some of the inscriptions supply dates and refer to the conquest of the kings and the extent of their kingdom. Number 2, the Brihatshara temple. Inscription give measurements of lands gifted to the temple. Some of them describe the various ornaments owned by deities with details of weight of gold and gems in the matter of their setting. A few copper plate inscriptions are preserved in the Museum of the Leiden in Netherlands. They record gifts of land to temples by the Chola king Parantaka in 9th century AD. These endowments came to be called by the name Leiden Grant. Number 3, the inscriptions, all the information gives us, we get all the information from the inscription. The inscriptions refer to the deities whom the temples are dedicated in. In this way, they throw important light on the kingdom's religious and cultural history. The 12th century temple inscriptions reflect cooperations, relationships among different religious groups of people. Number 4, inscription tells us about the Chola administration also. The Uttara Meru description, for example, contains details about the village administration under the Cholas. It tells that the kingdom's chief source of income was land revenue based on careful survey and classification of all types of the land. Now, today up till this, okay, my students, next day the other parts. Okay, thank you very much.